Hey guys, Hotcakes here. We're gonna review 6 plus size people versus one fake one. So a couple of huskies and one that's not a husky. Let's see how that
Does
goes.
everyone here wear jeans? Like just
Yeah.
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 Where do you guys buy your jeans from?
That honestly depends. I've had some luck. I mean, I present more masculine, so a lot of the times I will like resource to Old Navy. I'll just kind of go there and like get one of the bigger pairs. I actually
Right.
did just get a pair from Old Navy like a couple weeks ago, and I love it, but it's a little big in the waist, so I do have to take it in. I'm probably gonna tailor it though. So, but I do love Old Navy's jeans, especially their men's section.
Old
I
Navy
don't
jeans.
really wear jeans, but I think the only 2 pairs that I own are from Shein.
I feel like it depends what style I'm going for.
True.
Like for fitted jeans, I definitely think like Good American's my go-to. Obviously, they're like on the higher end of like pricing wise, but they like make my ass look great.
Well, that's the thing. Also, like
Mhm.
getting the confidence to
All
actually
right.
wear what you want, it took me forever. So when I actually did, I'm still in the mentality when I was like 16, 17 and I could fit in a medium. So I'm like, oh, this I can't go to the same stores. Like I
Right.
can't go to a mall and
Look, I've been a husker myself my whole life, and yeah, it gets hard to buy clothes. At least to feel good in clothes. You can find clothes anywhere. I mean, I'm not over 300 pounds or anything like that. But like or like over 250 either. But so it gets hard to find clothes that fit well. But I mean, you can find your size anywhere. So you just feel uncomfortable going clothes shopping. So I understand what they're saying. So once you find like your fit from one store, you just keep going back. You just keep going back because it's easier to keep going back than to drop the weight, honestly, which is definitely more essential for us. We need to drop the weight for our health.
buy clothes anymore.
I would say 2 years ago, I would go to like Goodwills and Value Villages, but that has become a lot harder as of late.
The reason that I chose to do this was mainly because it meant a lot to me to share the idea of like, as you transition away from being in a bigger body to potentially being in a skinnier body, that is not something that like makes you harder working or better at like achieving some sort of goal than the other person or another person that you may see in a plus size body. And going into it, I
Oh yeah, I've lost. I'm back up where I don't want to be, but I once lost like 70 pounds, and I got down to like 190. And people at work thought I was working harder. I actually did a lot less at work because I was so tired from losing weight, and they just thought I was lazy when I was fat. And now that I had gotten down in weight, they were like, "Oh, you're so good at your job now. You're so motivated." I was like, "I'm tired.
promised myself I wasn't going to tell
So
any
tired."
lies. I was going to be very truthful and speak on every kind of experience that I had had leading up to today. I wanted to make sure that what I was saying was stuff that I lived through. I think putting on a character would be disrespectful to the other people that were here today.
I just thrift most of my clothing, and like I have a tailor for my pants anyway.
Shout
Like
out
back
to the
in,
tailors.
yeah, 100%. Especially when I'm back home. I'm 15 minutes outside of New York City, so I usually just commute in there. There's this one thrift store, I don't know if anybody's been, called the L Train, and like that is really good for carrying bigger sizes. Back in my actual hometown, I can go to my tailor very easily. It's like a 5-minute drive from my house.
Okay.
So I thrift probably 90% of my clothing, cheaper,
Slay.
saves energy, and like it feels way easier.
There is no way he's gonna go pay like $15 for jeans, then go pay $45. Like, I get it. As a plus size person, tailoring for some things, great. But I could not believe for a second that he is tailoring every set. And I was like, he is not fat anymore.
Well, when you're fat and short, you got to tailor because there's no way they're going to carry your waist size with the pant length. So you have to tailor everything.
Not gonna lie, shop at Ross a lot or Marshalls,
Ross Smith. Ross.
and finding jeans is hard. It's a hit or miss. Sometimes at Ross they'll have bigger
There
sizes,
you go.
sometimes they don't. But if it says stretch, then I'm usually good on it.
I actually didn't even share where I got my jeans from. I realized that. I usually shop at like American Eagle. Jeans in general are like a struggle to find. Either they fit your thighs and they don't fit your waist, or they fit your waist and it's a struggle.
Oh man. I did
No.
feel, I guess, invalidated in a point because they were talking about, brands and, and stuff that I can't really afford. So I thought my answer of, oh, I shop at Ross because that's what I could afford.
Yo, Jubilee be hiring these guys that want to be actors, and they're to do these things for like $100 or something like that, apparently. And they're all like broke, so broke that they go thrift shopping and all that. And then you got some rich kids over here apparently talking about brands. And this poor guy's like, nah, man, I can't. I don't even know what you guys are talking about.
I thought that's what kind of eliminated me.
So I was gonna say, if any of you guys did any form of like performance as a kid, and I know we were talking about how some of us were models before, sorry about names, but how that affected you growing up and how like the idea of performing and being on stage was definitely more difficult for you than your peers.
That is an awesome question.
Well, you start since there.
Yeah. So I was on the math team for my elementary school, which was like very fun and I enjoyed it a lot. But before our first meet, when we were doing practices and such, they gave us the vest sizes. And I remember putting on the largest vest size that they had and it clinging to my skin and making me very uncomfortable. And I walked into the bathroom and I was looking at myself in the mirror and I was like, I can't do this, and I quit. And it really frustrated me that I let that take away something that meant a lot to me. That was definitely like my first experience with like, it is very difficult for me that outside elements are going to
It can really bother
take
you
who
with
I am
appearances.
and make that a form of a problem.
As a woman in a plus size theater community, it's like I always got the funny roles or
Could
the
really
really
mess with your
unattractive
confidence.
roles. And I'm like, I'm big. That doesn't mean I'm hilarious. Like,
Girl, we could talk about this forever.
yeah. So that's
Yeah.
super powerful because performing and becoming into yourself, you either have to be overly confident and fake it till you make it, or it will tear you down. So I'm very sorry that that happened to you.
How do we all identify? Do we identify, like, what do we use to label ourselves if you have one?
PHAT. Thank you.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
I have a weird feeling about that one for some reason.
Really?
I like just normal.
Yeah.
Because I'll say fat and then people be like, oh my God, fat. And then I'll be like, it's not inherently a bad
No,
word.
not a
It's
taboo
an
word. That's the
adjective.
biggest-
I
That's
say
the
fat all
thing.
the
No, but it
time.
is kind of taboo because I was like, oh yeah, I'm fat. Don't say that, you're beautiful. I am gorgeous, but I am fat.
I didn't say I was ugly.
It's, oh my God,
Yeah,
bro.
I'm sorry, I misspoke.
Yo, fat people love this joke. I didn't say I was ugly. I'm just fat. Like, come on, man. It was played out. That's a 5-year-old joke, and you guys are still rolling with that.
People treat it like it's
Right,
taboo, and
right.
that's
So
the
it's
issue, really.
it's two truths. I'm like,
Exactly, yeah.
I feel beautiful, but I am fat. Being fat or plus size does not mean that we're not active, that we're not nice people, that we're not worthy. It really sucks when people treat you differently because you're a size 18 rather than a size 2 or 4.
When I, like, for
Two.
example, oh, great example. I went Halloween shopping, and it's really hard because, like, first and foremost, trying to find the plus size costumes, they're like, oh, it's just kind of integrated everywhere. And it's like, realistically, you have 200 costumes here, but only like 10 are for plus size. Then I go on to the other costumes, and I was like, oh, my choice is to be like a duck or the plus size nun costume covered boobs, knees, everything, but the skinny costume for the other nun was like tits out for her armpit. And I'm like, so I literally, like, my choice
Well,
is
if you
like
got
be a
the
bubble
if you got the bottom, the smaller size, it wouldn't be just tits out. It'd be a lot more hanging out.
bath or a duck, and I'm like, I need a plus size section when I walk into somewhere because we have not progressed in human society.
There was this brand that like
We've
that
not
had
progressed.
this big campaign saying
We,
like,
we have not progressed to worry about the costume sizes when people like, come on, man. Nobody. If you can't participate, you can't participate. Like, I've been fat. I can't run a marathon. I can't participate. They shouldn't lower the amount of miles I got to run in this marathon so I can participate.
launching extended sizes,
Just
and then it came out and it was like completely
Adjust to
different than the straight
participate.
sizes.
That's
and I'm
it.
like, we are
That's
just
life.
asking for the same thing.
Why
in
do
a
they get
size.
cocktail dresses
It's
and I get moon?
literally.
Yo, she really don't like that. Oh,
Shut the up. What?
she's like the biggest one there.
Yo! Oh my God!
I didn't know it.
Who voted me out?
I am
Everybody.
I'm psychic. I know. One of you was
Sidekick.
on to something.
If you think the mole is still in the box and you wish to continue playing the game, please raise your hand.
I think the odd one out is probably somebody who lived as a fat
It
person,
used to be, yeah.
but lost the weight. But usually, a lot of the times, people that do grow up fat or go through weight loss journey, they end up being more fat phobic. That's not in all
100%.
cases. It's not in all cases, but
Yeah.
it does happen a lot.
Turning in on that, like I really do think that in my personal experience, people that go from being in a bigger body into like becoming skinny feel some sort of resentment, especially because I think they tie achievement to what they've done for some reason. Like there's this very big principle of like, look at what I've done, and they push this like American dream-esque mentality of like,
Yeah,
like
and
genuinely
it's
like I worked
exactly.
hard and I did this, and it's like, well, not everybody wants to do
Yeah,
that.
and
Not
like
everybody
that's
wa-
fine.
Like,
That's
this
fine.
guy's
If you wanna
really
lose
selling
weight,
it.
do that, but you don't need to like project that onto everyone else. And I would think if you were somebody who lived that experience as
would
a fat person,
understand.
you would
Honestly,
understand.
dating, I've met many guys who were like, I used to be big, so I understand that being smaller is more desirable. And it's just like this conversation just rubs me the wrong way because I've been met with so many people who think like that. And like the worst person I dated was very fat phobic, and they used to be bigger and they lost weight, and they were like shaming me about my body, being like,
Red
we'd
flag.
have better sex if you were smaller and all that
God,
shit. Like,
no.
oh
Yeah, that's
my
a lie.
God.
No, 100, and it's the connotation, right? Like, yeah,
Yeah.
because they like sorry,
Fat
I
is
was gonna,
bad.
well, I was gonna throw
Like,
up air quotes, but we all
Look at my boy getting defensive
because
for his
they
sake.
like put in the work.
He lost the weight, so he doesn't want to come off as a bad person for losing the weight, which is like it's not it's an achievement in a sense because there's a lot of battles you got to fight mentally just to be able to drop weight. It isn't just eating better, or exercising more. Like you have to really talk yourself into it and like push yourself because nobody else is going to push you. Other people that are hanging out with you that are skinnier are going to be like, "Oh, have a croissant. It won't kill you. Have this loaded cup of coffee and sugar right here. It won't. One's not going to do anything. But when you're trying to drop weight, that one turns into like to the floodgates.
Yeah.
That part being in air quotes, and like became into a skinnier body.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, there's this idea
Wait,
like
yeah.
you aren't working as well.
Yeah.
But again, not everybody
Yeah.
wants to work that hard.
Exactly.
quote unquote.
Can we also go down the line and maybe just say if we have been fat or plus size most of our life, or if
Oh,
it,
actually, that's great because I wanted to say for me it was a little bit different. Growing in South America, there isn't a lot of overweight people, obese people, and I've always been curvy, so to speak. And I was fine, but I was still like, you know how they say I spent my skinny years thinking I was fat? So I moved to the US when I was 16. And I started gaining weight. The life here is different. I wasn't as active. I wasn't doing sports anymore. And then I was on birth control. So for me, it was hormonal imbalance that made me gain a lot of weight. But it really sucked. And, in my own skin, I'm going to start crying. I'm sorry. Like being skinny and like now you're fat and like everybody treats you different.
I think it's difficult too because I grew up fat.
Yeah.
I've been fat my entire life, and I've always envied in a way I've always wondered what it would be like to live in a thin body and have people treat you differently. Like I've dreamt about it, and I think that is really difficult when you exactly. I understand.
That's
what
why
you're
it's an
saying,
achievement.
You've lived both.
You're
and it
dreaming
was
about
hard because
this.
from people who haven't,
You
it's
want
just,
it.
we can't even.
You just
fathom
have to
it.
stay complacent
And
because it's
speaking
easier.
into the whole spinning your
As
skinny
mean as
years,
that might
feeling like you're
sound,
fat,
I mean,
I
trust
definitely
me,
relate to that.
I'm
a
fat right
bullying
now.
survivor. I was
and I've
bullied
lost the
for
weight.
about 8
It's hard.
years, and I also
It's
played
really hard.
volleyball and was in theater and stuff like that. And the only reason I stopped throwing up and binging and purging is because I was losing my voice, and I love to sing, and I got nodes.
No, that's the worst.
shit.
Oh my God.
I went from mezzo soprano to mezzo alto,
Are we all crying now?
pretty much. But yeah, like if it didn't affect
Yeah,
my
cut the
voice,
timer. Too
I
many
don't know
crying.
if I would have stopped.
There you go.
It really broke my heart after, having to vote people out who, in my heart, I knew were fat. To just feel invalidated. And
In my heart,
that really
I
sucks.
knew they were fat. What is that, man? Jubilee is wild, bro. The mole is still here.
Because I wasn't crying. I'm sorry, y'all.
So the eliminations is something that we're wrestling with. Do you feel like it took away from the experience?
It was just like being in the space where we were sharing our stories and everything felt so heartfelt. but it's just a game. But
Exactly.
overall, it was really awesome to
That's
be
why
in this
Jubilee
space
is wild.
and have these conversations that don't happen often if you don't have fat friends to talk about them with. As someone who grew up very self-conscious and didn't know where to look and turn to see people like me, I take that on as an adult to speak about
If you're
these
fat, you
things
don't
and
want a lot
have
of
these
fat friends.
conversations that
They
we're
kind
still
of
confused
like
about.
If you think the mole is still in the box
continue
and
the
wish to
vicious
continue
cycle.
playing the game, please raise your hand.
Not that you can't be friends with fat people, right? Of course. But like if you're overweight and you want to drop weight or you want to maintain or get healthier, not don't hang out with fat people, just make sure that guy or girl is on the same page as you as far as trying to get better.
I swear to God, if anyone's lying, oh my God, I'm so
For real.
pissed.
If the lights turn green, that means you have voted the mole out and you win.
Ooh,
If
slim
the lights
thugging right
turn
here. He ain't
red,
going nowhere.
that means the mole is still in the box and you
The
lose.
biggest sweater in the world.
1, 2, 3.
Oh no.
We lost.
On the count of 3, everyone can take off their blindfolds. 1, 2, 3.
I knew it.
I
Knew
Oh, I
it.
knew it. Everybody knew it now.
Heartfelt story about dating someone fat phobic. You guys voted me.
Okay, can we talk about 1,000,001 reasons why it was Derek?
Okay, the only one that got me was like the theater. Like I really could relate with that. So I obviously know that
No.
you really
That
were
was
through
your
that.
biggest
I
red
think
flag.
that was true. though.
It was true. That's what I'm
Promise,
saying.
That's
What
an
gave me
important
away
thing.
was
Nothing.
getting you away was
There's
that
not a single.
you
Yeah.
were getting-
So when I was in 4th grade, I was 4 feet tall. I was 144 pounds, and my doctor told me that I was morbidly obese, and it was a very like self-image wrecking thing for me because he used language that made it seem like I needed to change as opposed to just assessing where I was. Like I said, everything that I talked about before was true, but when we were talking about people being incredibly fat phobic that go through a transition of being in a bigger body and then ending up quote unquote skinnier, that experience for me
Quote unquote.
was I mistook the
Skinnier,
pain
skinnier, my guy.
that came with not having self-love as being associated with a number on a scale. And as I kept moving the goalposts further and further away from myself and saying like, this will be when I'm happy with myself. And this will be the time in my life where I like the way I look. And once I do this, I'll be happy with myself. I was no happier than when I started. I just kept being further and further from a goal that I was
Oh yeah, when I
changing.
dropped 70 pounds, I wasn't happier. I was happier that I could fit in clothes, but I wasn't happier with the way I looked. There was a lot of saggy skin and all that. So like it doesn't stop. You have to keep going, despite everything.
I'm happy not because of the way that my body looks, but because I can have self-acceptance, and that's a very difficult journey for anybody to go on, and me losing any form of weight played no factor in that. I hope that in watching this video, somebody can learn that the horrible stereotype that they have of plus-size people, whether that be that they're lazy or sluggish or they don't eat right or they're not healthy, there are people that are plus size that are faster than you. There are people that are plus size that are in better conditions than the average human being. I was definitely plus sized for a long period of my life, and I still feel the residuals of like the way people treat you for being in a plus size body, like to this day.
This is the first time that I'm hearing a lot of these things. Because at least for me growing up, it wasn't like being bullied or anything like that. It was just like my own mind attacking myself. Like seeing in the mirror and be like, oh my God, you're fat. You need to lose weight. Outside of that, like
Yeah,
I
there's
didn't
usually a lot more
experience,
than
like,
that
the
than the outside
bullying and
influence.
name calling. I didn't see any of that. So like hearing you guys, like that's a lot. I couldn't tell like how I had an eating disorder when I was younger and how I overcame that. And then I slowly started drifting back to it. And I'm trying to lose weight now in a more healthy manner. So I wish I could have told that story to the group.
I'm sorry to anybody that shared
What is
something
this
personal
quote
and then like because
unhealthy?
of this feels like they were
Are you
lied
healthy
to
or not?
like I really I came into the game with the idea of just having fun, and I promised myself like I'm not gonna lie a single time that when I speak. It's like I didn't want to like come in here and build a character.
I hope people who watch this video, no matter what size you are, I think it's important that we're just kind to people and treat everyone with respect.
I hope everybody just takes away like empathy. You never know what someone.
So you got to have that empathy for your fellow human being all the time, no matter what. All right, guys. Comment down below what you guys think about this video. Jubilee is a little crazy with these wild videos. If you want more from Jubilee or if you want me to react to something else, let me know. Thanks for watching, guys.